Tonight there's plenty of news and major issues to discuss, but once more the all too common link between them, the way to pick our way through these issues, the way to separate the serious people from the virtue signallers is simply to point out the blatant hypocrisy. Double standards and hypocrisy are all around us when it comes to the big issues in this country, and especially how the political left deals with them. On international affairs, I was astounded to see one particular comment from our Prime Minister yesterday. After being involved in a phone hookup with European leaders, Anthony Albanese doubled down on his harebrained idea to send Australian soldiers as peacekeepers to Ukraine, if a ceasefire, of course, can be struck with Russia first. Our diggers to keep the peace in Europe, as if we don't have enough challenges in our own neighbourhood. And what was the most astounding for me was the chutzpah that was shown in this comment.
Russia, Vladimir Putin's a bully. You know what Australians do? They stand up to bullies.
Really? Albo is all about standing up to bullies? Let's test that. Because I'm old enough to remember just 3 weeks ago when China did bully us. China conducted live firing exercises in the Tasman Sea, interrupting our commercial aviation, and it did so without forewarning us. It did this to intimidate Australia. And what did Albanese do then when we were bullied? Well, he said this.
Well, China issued, in accordance with practice, an alert that it would be conducting these activities, including the potential use of live fire. It's outside of Australia's exclusive economic zone.
Yeah, Albo says Aussies stand up to bullies, but 3 weeks ago, Albo didn't stand up to a bully. He made excuses for the bully. He said what they wanted him to say, and he was wrong anyway because we were not warned. So now the Prime Minister is trying to muscle up. He's trying to make up for that weakness by promising he'll send our troops to Ukraine. This is a terrible misjudgment of our strategic priorities. And you can tell just how bad the idea is by looking at who else supported it just this morning.
Our government has said yes, in principle, have a look at it. I think that's the responsible way to do it. I think the alternative is you look like you're, lining up with others. So I think we're better off being on the side of the people that are defending freedom in Ukraine.
Wow, that's former Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull, of course, all gung-ho now about sending Aussie peacekeepers to Ukraine. Now, in case you're thinking he might say anything to try to undercut Peter Dutton, who of course opposes such a deployment, well, we can, of course, look at what Turnbull has said in the past. Back in 2014, when MH17 was shot down over Ukraine, killing 298 people, 27 of them from Australia, then Prime Minister Tony Abbott wanted to help out with the recovery and investigation. And he asked our Defence Force to consider whether we could send soldiers. Abbott didn't send any, of course, and you'll see why, because thanks to an ABC documentary, we can hear both how the commander of our Defence Forces describes the decision and what Malcolm Turnbull made of it back then.
And at the end of it all, he said, OK, Angus, I accept your advice. It'll be a police-led option.
Well, he was talked out of it by our military leadership. Basically this was a thought bubble that was quickly punctured, but it showed, if you like, the elements of Tony that started to make me feel that we had a very dangerous Prime Minister.
There you go. There was sensible consideration given to an army plan. The right decision was made, but Turnbull used it to undermine Abbott. Sending troops to Ukraine then for a specific purpose before the Russian invasion, that was dangerous, said Turnbull. But now he backs troops for Ukraine. Why? Surely not the opposition. Surely not the opposite position being put now because he wants to undermine another Liberal leader. I reckon we can all see what motivates Malcolm Turnbull when he gets up in the morning, and it's not sweetness and light.